Welcome to Super Seller Sunday. Today we have India Maro with us, and she is amazing. I can't wait to tell you guys about her. Actually, I can't wait for her to tell us about her. Let me just go right in to introduce you. India, welcome to our show.
Hi, so great to see you. I'd love to meet more of the people that are on this page, so send me a direct message. I'd love to keep chatting.
Oh, that's such a good idea. Do you think you could tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, so my favorite thing to share about myself is that I'm a former high school teacher. I taught high school Spanish for about 10 years in Iowa. I'm a Midwestern girl from Chicago, and it was real popular to go to the University of Iowa from Chicago. And I went to the University of Iowa and have had a couple of career changes, but most recently I was a high school teacher for 10 years. So it was a wonderful experience and has really kind of led into what I'm doing now. And those skills that I learned there have been wonderful, applicable skills for sales.
Well, tell us what you're doing now.
So right now, I ended up making a side hustle a full-time job. So I moved to Florida after my dad died. My mom wanted to move to Florida to be near her sister. And I said, you know what? I'll quit teaching and I'll come too. So I flat out decided to set the reset button on my life and quit teaching. I moved to Florida and thought I'll sell plants as a little side hustle, little cute creations with succulents and cute little pots. And that's what I do now is I have pots and plants, and it has expanded past succulents and is now house plants. And I decorate and go into people's houses, decorate their houses with plants. But for the purpose of marketplace, I sell a lot of just flat out plants, house plants particularly, to lots of different people. And then my fun little planters are also really popular too. How did that get started? COVID. Honestly, COVID, I am a positive, the silver lining to the cloud. I am a positive product of COVID.
Got a COVID career, huh?
COVID career, absolutely. I took advantage of a situation and people wanted to decorate their homes and to make them prettier since they were home. So I worked marketplace like a job. I am absolutely shameless about posting every single day, multiple items, different types of items. And then when you ask me the question about how do I get more business, is I put in those descriptions a link to my page so people know this isn't all I have, folks. Come and check me out.
So you're talking about a link to your business page or a link to your marketplace profile?
Both. I actually have both in the description. It's kind of a wordy description, but I'm shocked at the amount of people who really do appreciate that and use that to find out more about what I have to offer. So yes, in the
Actually, a
description.
really great tip, but you're staying on the platform when you're putting those links. Have you ever tried to put links on that are off of the platform? And how does that work well for you if you do that?
So I have a note in my cell phone, obviously, so I can copy and paste this same information into every single listing. And included in that is a direct link to my Facebook business page. Copy link to your page.
Okay.
That has been magical for me. It's worked great to send people directly to my page. And in that same paragraph, it says, or you can check out my commerce profile.
So you're giving them more than one opportunity to still be able to find you. Do you list everything both on your business page and also on your commerce page?
Yes, so I have a three-prong process for listing. Whenever I list an item, my first step is to list on Marketplace. My second step is to go into my Facebook business page, and I highly recommend that you set up the shop on your Facebook page. You have the opportunity to not make it where people can order directly on that shop. You can have the button simply say message seller. That I have used as if it was my web page, and I have it categorized, and there's a way for people to see all the different items that I have for sale. The first step is Marketplace. The second step is my business page on my shop. And then I'm sure you're going to ask me about it soon, but the third step is Instagram.
Yes,
They're
it is.
connected and similar, but not the same. If you're not tapping into the market that Instagram has to offer, you're missing out. It is a whole nother demographic. It's a whole nother generation, not necessarily having to do with age, but it has to do with interest.
And entertainment.
And pure entertainment factor and education. People are wanting to go to be informed in a quick, short little ways, to learn new things and to be entertained.
So let's look at a couple of your reels. They call them Instagram reels, right?
Absolutely, Instagram Reels. I believe it's a takeoff on the TikTok video craze.
Quite a few times.
50 times?
More.
100 times?
More.
200 times?
More.
500 times?
Probably.
And Instagram and Facebook said, hey, we want a part of this. It's a major way that people are driving business to their page by showing a little bit more about themselves with touches of personality or sarcasm or silliness.
What does it mean? What does it mean? What does it mean?
As well as informing. So they don't just have to be silly. If you're not a silly personality, you don't have to be. You need to find who you are and incorporate that into solving a need for a customer. So whatever the problem is, know it in your market and do a video about it.
One of the things that got me all excited about what you do is, number one, you do plants. My mom's a plantee. My daughter's a plantee. I don't know if that's what you guys call it. We're just,
That'll work.
Instead of foodie, we're going to call you guys planties. And they have plants everywhere. I've got one plant, just one.
Yeah.
As you can see, it's not in this room. They name them. They love them. They even talk to them. And you even have this sloth planter that I'm in love with. I'm so getting it for my daughter for Christmas. Hopefully she doesn't watch this video. It's so cute. It like hangs, and then you bring life into your listings with the information that you put out, with the fun videos that you're doing. The thing that I thought was so interesting when I started studying your business plan was this three-prong listing, adding that element of fun into it and the education through Instagram and using that platform to bring people over, because Instagram is actually owned by Facebook and it's all connected by Facebook. But it also, when you're bringing these people over, you're also still communicating with them even after that. Correct?
Yes, correct. So I continue to communicate with my customers. I mean, even if they don't buy something the first time around, I always say, okay, no problem. Have you followed my business page? And if they like and follow your page, then that way later they're kind of seeing more about what you are and who you are as a seller and more of what you have to offer. So I always tell myself, maybe they didn't buy yet, but they might buy eventually. So just make sure if you can encourage them to like and follow your page and give them a reason to like and follow your page, because what you have is presented in a fun and interesting way and not just simple pictures. Take advantage of all the apps on your phone with collages where you can combine the pictures together in interesting ways. Take advantage of putting music behind your items. So that perfect example of those sloth planters that you're talking about, I actually made a reel to sell those items. So there's just music in the background and I move the camera in a fun way to kind of show off that those are hanging. So that is something you can do, and then save that video and then add that video to your marketplace listing, because marketplace now has the option for you to add videos to your listing.
Some people, not everyone, but
not everybody. Oh, shoot.
But if you have it, I'm jealous.
I do. You don't have it?
What?
Oh my gosh, it's made such a difference because I can even talk over the video too if I don't want to do a song. Sometimes I'm like, wow, check out how big this plant is, or how full and lush, or can you see how silvery and green that is? I mean, things like that. It's interest. It adds that interest where they're kind of like, who's this lady in this background?
Yeah.
The other thing I would suggest too is the way to drive business back to your page is make sure you're teaching your potential customers about your commerce profile. Your commerce profile has the opportunity for you to change the details about yourself. So you can do a little blurb, like an about me section, almost like in a dating profile. You can tell somebody about yourself in the way that you want to be presented. Change that little picture and present yourself the way that you want to. So that commerce profile, I think, is key because people are going there to see your reviews and they're going there to see who is this person.
I actually had someone the other day say, you have really great reviews. I want to buy this.
Makes
Okay.
such
I've never had anyone say that before. You have really great reviews.
I think people are noticing those way more often and making sure before they, I hope they are, they should be, before they click buy now to check out those reviews.
Right, that they can
Mhm.
rely on
Yes.
good service
So
and
that's another thing that I do that I think is also bringing customers back is I follow up proactively. So I ship the item and then I go back through and I message those people again, maybe the day before it arrives or the day it arrives or the day after it arrives. And I say something along the lines of, I really hope you love your item.
Mhm.
That's it.
That's
Just
it.
leave it as simple as that. It
Yes.
opens that opportunity for them to say, yes, I love it. Fine. That's not what I care about. What I want to know is if they don't like it, I want to be proactive about it. And it started that conversation and reminded them I'm a real person who does care if you like this product or not.
Mhm.
So give me the opportunity. You're saying it without saying it. You're saying, give me the opportunity to make it right so that you can make a change before they post a negative review. Let's say a customer messages and says the inevitable, is this available?
Is this available?
Oh, I did a video about that too. I mean, it drives me bonkers. But to me, it's just another person that I now have in my bank to message and
Mhm.
remind them who I am and what I have to sell.
So
So
how
I
many
copy and paste messages back to them and say, are you still interested in this item? Have you seen my other items? And oh, by the way, here's my commerce profile and here's my page. That's
So
it.
let's talk about messages really quick because that's a huge thing to be able to, keep in contact with the customers and have a database of people. How many times do you talk to these people again, or is it just a once
What
time?
What a great question. It is a delicate, balance beam on that one. You have to be very careful because obviously what I'm doing could be perceived as spam. I think anybody who would hop on my page and see my videos and see kind of my journey as a, business person would know it's not spam, it's just good sales.
Right.
But that doesn't matter. The perception could be spam. So to answer your question, one and done.
Mhm.
It's one follow-up on if especially if they haven't bought anything yet. If they
Okay.
haven't bought anything yet, either my message has to do with there's a new sale and here's other items that I have that are also like what you were interested in. So whether
So
that's houseplants or flamingos, I say I also have this and this and this
you go to a listing and
listings. Yeah.
maybe that plant has sold 15 times, let's say, for example. You go in and you take all 15 people and you message them one thing, one time.
Yes.
Maybe just wanted to let you know I have a business page if you'd like to follow up and some other plants that are similar to yours, blah, blah, blah. And then do you have an option when you do that to text people who bought versus people who didn't buy?
I don't have an option to do that. What I do is I go into the listing and then you can go into the part for where you've been messaged. There's a message piece and there's a comments piece,
Yes.
and you can drill down that way. I simply click the button that says message buyers. Then I click those buyers. When I'm messaging buyers to follow up with them, I have a couple of simple rules. I make sure that I'm not messaging more than 100 a day. My other little trick is I don't want to cue the system to thinking that I'm spamming customers. So I make sure I split that up over a couple of different listings. My rule of thumb, and maybe it'll work for you, is about 30 for each listing or no more than 30 for each individual listing. So it doesn't look like I'm spamming customers.
Do you ever pay to boost sales?
Boosting sales is a hot topic, isn't it? Does it work or does it not work? Have I paid to boost the listings? Yes, I have tried that. From my personal experience, it has not shown to work or to encourage any more sales. But What I have found to be very, very helpful and is a direct result of this page is promoting my listings, not boosting my listings. Go ahead and try it because you don't know it for your particular market. It might work fantastic, but for me, it just didn't. So I highly suggest that you promote your listings. For example, I went in and watched one of those videos that you created on that Tip Tuesday, or what was that, Tip Tuesday?
Yes.
And it told me how to promote my listings. And I just did that on these awesome wiener dog bowls. It's like a little cast iron wiener dog, and on the top it has a white little bowl, and I stick air plants in it. It's a cute air plant creation. And I knew they were hot. They are absolutely super hot, but they're $20 each, right? How do I get my profit? It's a business after all. But I just went in and promoted the listing for $2 off. I've sold 16 in a day.
Nice. Woohoo.
So
Yes.
thank you, Facebook page, for marketplace buyers, because that makes such a difference. So I highly suggest that you promote your listings. Maybe boosting them isn't in your what's going to be beneficial, but you don't know unless you try.
You're right.
So I
And
wouldn't tell people to not do it. I would just say, in my experience, it hasn't worked, but I fully intend to try it again.
I think what we need to do is have some tutorials on how to boost properly so that people can get the best benefit out of boosting. When you promote, it doesn't cost you any money out of pocket up front, like what you were talking about. And I love to promote. I
Yeah.
love it, love it, love it. So that's good. I'm glad you
The
did
other
that.
hot tip that you shared with me, and for those that maybe didn't watch that other video, when you promote a listing, what you guys taught me was to make it a real short amount of time. I
Yes.
wasn't doing that, and
Yes.
it did not work near as well. The second I made it maybe 12 to 24 hours is my kind of rule of thumb lately, it made a huge difference. Before I was doing like for a week, they would get 10% off. That very rarely worked because I know why. It's because people say, oh, this is on sale. I'll come back. I have time. You want them to feel like, no, if I don't do it now, I'll lose this opportunity.
The other thing that I love about promotions, it will push your price point down where we can only list at like $20 or $19 in whole sums. On a promotion, I can say I'm doing a 1% off sale, and it will take a $10 and bump it down to $9.99. And that actually makes a huge difference sometimes when people are looking at stuff. It's not that they're not willing to pay $10; they are attracted to the $9.99 or the $9.89.
Well, you just taught me something. I've never thought about really that 1% piece, because I'm
Yes.
a big round numbers girl.
Me too.
Me too. So maybe I need to change that because of that mentality of it's not $10, it's $9.99. And in our head, it means it's $9,
Right.
even though it's closer to 10. Okay, I'll try that soon.
Right. And I think sometimes they don't even look at what the percentage off. They just look at, oh, it's on sale. It's $9.99 and it ends in, an hour or 3 hours.
Yes.
But I've seen people pulling stuff through there, and they've got 3 and 4 sales going all day long on this category, then this category, then this category. And they're constantly pushing it through to promote the people to buy.
I need to take more advantage of doing those myself. So thanks for telling me.
So what do you think the biggest benefit of our group has been for you?
The biggest benefit of the group for me has definitely been that I use it almost like a database to answer my questions. Tip for those who are on other Facebook groups: before you post your question, search for your question in the search tool, because somebody might have already asked that question and you might have a bank of resources of people that have already answered that question. For a lot of us who've been on this page for a couple of months, we're starting to notice a theme. People are posting frequently about, hey, what's this zero view thing? Or what's this pending balance thing? Or, because it's posted all the time. Instead of posting those questions, you could look as if it were a website or as if it were a database. You could use the search tool to see what if people have already answered your question.
You're so right. It's like every day has its own bug report.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And understandably, because we all feel like, is this just me? Am I crazy? And what's so wonderful about the page is you learn very quickly, it's not just you. You are not crazy, and nor are you alone. And I've loved that about the page, is I love that I can post something and almost immediately I either get my question answered But even if I don't get my question answered, I get somebody who echoes a similar frustration, which makes me feel better about it.
I love your whole business plan, and I love the approach that you take with everything. This 2.0 life of yours, it just seems like it's so much fun. It feels freeing to me that you've gone and taken this adventure to just pick up and leave and go and be with your mom. And I know
I
that,
pushed the reset button on my life.
yes, you
Mhm.
did.
I
Yes, you
did.
did. And you upgraded it.
Yes.
You know, one thing what you did during COVID, that you made your porch area beautiful so that people would want to come and just take part of it.
People were coming to pick up stuff that I'd posted on Marketplace, and that was when they offered the option of porch pickup only, you know? So people would click that button and I would put it out my front doorstep, but I would tell them in the text on the way there, "Hey, if you're interested in other items, there's a little shelf right next to my door. Message me and I can let you know how much they are and you can buy that while you're here." So people would literally shop while I was staring at them through the peephole and and yelling, almost yelling at them through the door, talking about prices. And it was just kind of a fun evolution for how things worked from that little shelf outside my front door. And then
Uh-huh.
I thought, well, if they're there anyway, maybe this little spot outside here on my outside my apartment door would be good. And I kind of branched around the patio. And yes, it served as a wonderful kind of escape or a place for people to go during COVID. I had a mask protocol in place. We're saying, hey, let's go ahead and be safe and let's wear masks. Yes, we'll be outside, but let's go ahead and wear a mask if you wouldn't mind. So people felt safe coming. And it was amazing how people would just kind of hang out and just check out a beautiful landscape and a beautiful yard.
You're amazing.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much for
Thank
joining
you.
us today. Is there anything else that you would like to, any kind of advice that you'd like to give our group members before we go?
I do have one more thing. I can tell you the biggest thing that has brought people to my page, kept people purchasing over and over again, is Facebook Lives.
Really?
My Facebook Lives, every single time I go live, whether it's 5 minutes or 20 minutes or just a minute, every time I go live and say, hey, here's what's new, or did you know this, or teach them something, or show them something, I make a lot more money than that time was worth it to me. It's wonderful. Go ahead and pop on your Facebook Live. Don't worry about what you look like. I've had a huge transformation in my mind about, yes, it's one thing to get dolled up, but it's another thing to just be who you are, be in that baseball cap, be in that t-shirt, or whoever you really are as a person. Pop on your live and show your customers what you have to offer. Then post that to your business page. Maybe people won't watch it at that moment when you go live. It might be the wrong time of day, but later I'm shocked at the amount of people watch those lives.
Do you have a specific time frame that you keep alive under? Like, do you keep it at 5 minutes or 3 minutes or,
I
15?
don't. Every time I say I'm going to make it short and sweet, and it always ends up longer. So I'm probably not the best representation of that because I just get excited to show everybody what I have to offer. But that probably is my next big goal, is to make some shorter options. But that's also where I think reels come into play. And that
Yes.
fun, creative way to educate in, less than 30 seconds. So those are when I'm going to use my reels. My lives are going to be more where they see who I am as a person and offer more at one time. Because people do press the play button and eat their snacks and watch. They do. Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you so much for joining us
Thank you.
today. I really appreciate you. I'm excited for everyone to see you.
Thank you. I'm so glad to meet you. Please direct message me. We can chat. I think it's super important to create that database and that network of common people that are doing what you're doing. At the very least, to have a support network. If you ask questions,
Agreed.
that's a bonus. Knowing that somebody's there to listen is another thing.
We're going to put India's link below so that you can contact her if you would like to ask any questions or anything like that, or even go visit her page.
Yes.
Thank you, India, for joining us today.
All right. Thank you. So great to see you.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.